Hey, hey, I need that. Can I have that back, please? It's mine.
Hey guys, I didn't really like the footage that I recorded because the GoPro does not have very good up close recording. So I'm going to start this video with pictures of the two knots I use and the names of them so you can do some research on how to tie those knots correctly from somebody who actually has a good camera and can show you how to tie it.
All right, now we've tied a knot. What's next? Well, with everything going on, you're trying to social distance, right? So you don't want to go, I guess, to a bait shop and buy worms or buy minnows or buy whatever. You don't want to do that. Obviously, you do what you want to do, but social distancing is important and you want to try and limit as much contact as you can. So, what I'm going to do for you is I'm going to teach you the simplistic bait that every fish likes. Not every fish. Most fish you're fishing for will eat this. What is that? You guessed it. It's worms. Worms are very commonly found. If you don't know how to find worms, I'm going to show you. But basically, you throw worms in water, you're going to catch some sort of fish. Whether it's a bluegill, a crappie, a bass, a catfish, wherever you may live, there's different species. Those are the four main ones around here. But yeah, worms. From there, you can use the bluegill for other bait to catch catfish. You can even use bluegill to catch bass with a big enough hook and rig. But we're going to go with the simplistic bluegill setup, just our panfish setup. What you want to do is you want to have your hook tied, right? Now, I would not ever use this size hook for a bluegill. I would use something a little bit smaller. This is a size Z4 bait holder from Eagle Claw. I use these with bigger jigs I use for crappie fishing, but this is what I would use if I was using night crawlers or red wigglers. Something small like this that you can put enough bait on to attract bluegill and panfish very easily, and small enough hook that you can actually hook them. What you're going to do from here, so you tie your hook. You want a little bit of weight on it. I've got a bell weight here, but get a small split shot, which I will... Did I bring? Oh, thank you. I'm not an idiot. I thought I prepped for this. This is called a split shot. You want to put that split shot. It's worms, so you don't have to go too high up. And use pliers, guys. Don't be stupid like me. I've just done this my whole life, and I forgot pliers because I'm also stupid. But put it about 6 inches or so. 4 or 6 inches above the hook, right? All that's going to do is allow, when you cast it out there, it's going to sink it down, and then this will sink faster than your hook. Once this gets down, this will slowly drift behind it, and it's going to hold that worm down low. And that's what you want. You don't want that worm drifting around. In some situations you do, but for the most part, in this one, you want it just sitting there. The scent itself will attract the fish. The worm traveling through the water will attract your panfish, all right? That's it, really. And then you want a bobber. Now, I will tell you this from personal experience and doing a lot of pan fishing in my life. Stop and don't use big bobbers for this. I see this common thing everywhere I go when I go to public lakes, public ponds, and people fishing. They have like a bobber this big, and they're fishing with night crawlers going for bluegill. It's not effective. You can catch fish on it, yes. It's not effective though. You're not going to see every good bite that you can set a hook on. And that's going to put so much resistance on that fish that they may release the bait. You want something that's going to hold your bait above water, and that when a fish hits it, they can basically freely swim with it. That's what you want. You don't want some big old bobber that you see just kind of bobbing a little bit, not going underwater, because that's what you're looking for. You're looking for that fish to eat the hook and swim with it. So, I highly recommend these. These are trout bobbers. This is what I use for any and all pan fishing I do. They're very easy to change depth. They're very easy to put on. In fact, you don't even have to tie these when you tie your setup, as I'll show you here. They've got a little line in them, and you just slide it right over or right through the bobber. It is much more challenging with this thicker line. Again, I use a different setup for this. I'm just using the thick line to kind of show you what I'm doing here. I think I got it through. Nope. Ah. There we go. It's through. And I broke my bobber. Anyways, it's all right. So, and then plain and simple. Put this in here. That holds it. It's a very quick and easy bobber to do. But this is the setup I use. Captain, what are you doing, kitty? This is the setup I use when I'm jigging. This is the setup I use when I'm pan fishing in general. This is the setup I recommend for any and all people trying to... Captain, kitty. Trying to pan fish, all right? Next step is we're gonna find you some bait. All right, guys, so got my shovel. We're gonna give you just a little easy tip on how to find worms, basic pan fishing bait. So as you see behind me here, I've got a rotted log. Worms like decay. That's one easy way you're gonna find them. So flip the logs, dig through the logs. One thing I do wanna say is it is getting that time of year where snakes and dangerous spiders can be out. Please do not just stick your hand underneath them. That's how you get hurt. But here we go. So you can cut them in half and look for grubs. White grubs will work too. But really what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna try and get up underneath it. And I want to dig, this is the area I want to dig in. This moist, decaying ground underneath it. Now, if you don't have a shovel, look underneath decaying leaf piles, stuff like that. There we go. So this is a little guy. It's a little worm, but you don't need much more than this to get what you want from the fish. So gotta throw him in the bucket. There's one.
Wormies.
Alright guys, so we're here. I just went to a little local pond. I've caught some bluegill out here before. So now, what we're gonna do, you're just gonna take the worm, and just run it through the hook. The hook through the worm. You know what I meant. That's all you're gonna do. Now, if you can, buy night crawlers. You can get them from Walmart, any bait shop you go to. But night crawler's much bigger. But there you go. That's all you're gonna do, just like that, right? And you're just gonna flip it out there. And it's plain and simple. Flip it out there, wait for the bobber to go under, and set the hook. There we go. Nice chunky bluegill. Well, there we go. See, simple as that, right?